Trevor Stevenson, and welcome to Your Story Will Be Different. This is a narrative play podcast where I tell you the stories that come to be from playing a solo tabletop role-playing game. This session, we're playing Hiria, the Eternal City, which is a mind-bendy multiversal trip through various versions of the same city in multiple dimensions. A lot of fun to play. Let's dive right in. The average person doesn't realize that Hiria exists. It always has and always will exist as a city residing in and alongside all realities at the same time. It's in your reality. You just didn't know what you didn't know. Until now. The crisp air of the glacier-carved city greeted me as I made my way toward the arena in the center of my Hiria. The anticipation of the championship game crackled in the atmosphere, and the city's unique architecture, with open squares and squat buildings, created a visceral backdrop to the festivities. Beautiful banners were draped over the side of buildings reflecting the opposing teams, while folks near the arena set up to watch from the rooftops. As I approached the arena, an abnormally dressed stranger stepped out of the bustling crowd, their features obscured by the shadows cast by the glacier walls. They wore an enigmatic smile and spoke with an air of familiarity that sent a shiver down my spine.
"Ah, there you are,"
the stranger said, their voice a curious blend of warmth and mystery.
"I've been searching for you, my friend."
Perplexed, I regarded the stranger cautiously. "Do I know you?"
"In a way, yes. I come bearing a message about something you might not be aware of,"
the stranger replied.
"I'm on a quest, you see. I'm searching for Limo, the forgotten Celtic god who has slipped through realities. Wherever he goes, disruption follows."
The mention of a forgotten god and interdimensional disturbances is not what I had expected when I had walked out the door this morning. The stranger's voice seemed surreal, like a narrative from a fantastical tale, yet the sincerity in their gaze hinted at a deeper truth. "Limo?" I repeated, trying to make sense of the information. Never heard of him. Why would a god be causing disruptions here? The stranger sighed, a hint of weariness in their expression.
"The boundaries between realities are thin places like Hiria. Limo's wanderings have unintended consequences. I believe you can help me track him down."
As the stranger spoke, a distant roar of the crowd in the arena grew louder, the excitement building for the kickoff. The juxtaposition of the fantastical quest and the mundane revelry of the city added to the bizarre atmosphere. "I don't even know where to start," I admitted. The stranger produced a small, ancient-looking map.
"This is what we call a trace. I found it in a very different version of Hiria. Traces lead the way towards your quarry. In our case, Limo."
"And it's always a map?"
"Traces can be many things, not always physical in nature. Finding them puts you that much closer to what you seek. Are you ready?"
The choice lay before me, to continue into the arena and immerse myself in the festivities, or embark on a quest to chase down a forgotten Celtic god through the multidimensional city of Hiria. Who knew today would turn out like this? Though this wasn't the first time I'd slipped between realities, it was my first intentional trek. Following a disorienting swirl of colors and sensations, I emerged in an alternate version of Hiria. The atmosphere shifted dramatically. Gone were the open squares and low buildings of the glacier-carved city. Instead, I found myself in an industrious metropolis with winding passages, dusty storefronts, and echoey, labyrinthian, narrow streets. Notably, I was now alone. The stranger had vanished. Great. Taking a moment to absorb the sights and sounds of this bustling reality, my attention was immediately and abruptly diverted by the chaos of a daring daylight robbery unfolding nearby. The obvious robbers, clad in masks, dashed through narrow alleys, pursued fervently by a swarm of determined police officers. It was a scene straight out of a crime thriller, the tension palpable in the air. As the commotion dispersed into other corners of the city, I found myself drawn towards a different spectacle: the melodic voices of several small children singing a haunting folk song. The lyrics spoke of the forgotten god Limo, weaving a tale that echoed through the narrow passages of the city. The cadence of the song seemed like it was almost designed for the echoing corridors. Intrigued, I approached the group of children, their innocent faces painted with a mixture of curiosity and reverence. They sang of Limo's exploits and travels through their dimensions, and their voices carried the weight of centuries-old folklore. After the song concluded, I approached the children, and one of them, a bright-eyed girl, met my gaze.
You're not from around here, are you?
I nodded, a sense of determination building within me. No, I'm not, but I'm here to find Limo and take him home, I think. The children exchanged glances, their expressions shifting between excitement and caution. The same girl who had spoken before stepped forward, holding a small, weathered, leathered hymnal.
This might help you. It's a verse book for the songs of Limo's stories told in song,
she explained. Thanking the children, I studied the book, reading the lyrics that spoke of the intricate paths that led to different realities. Armed with this new clue, I looked down the street and saw a portal materialize as if I had done it subconsciously. I stepped into the next portal, propelled by the pursuit of the wayward deity and the mysteries woven into the fabric of all versions of Hiria. The next Hiria I found myself in was a cosmopolitan city, a forest of towering buildings that reached toward the sky. Yet the city's vibrancy was marred by parched plants lining the streets and frequent but irregular rolling blackouts, a stark contrast to the bustling energy of the previous version of Hiria. As I navigated the circuitous streets, my ears popped as a sudden storm descended upon the city, the heavens unleashing a torrent of rain and wind. Seeking refuge from the deluge, I ducked into the closest shop. The door chimed as I entered. The shop, dimly lit and filled with the scent of old books, offered a welcome respite from the raging storm outside. My attention was drawn to a table displaying various volumes, and one book in particular caught my eye. It was a weathered tome with a faded leather cover, its pages yellowed by time. I reached for the book, and as I opened it, I discovered that it was dedicated to Limo. The pages were filled with the tales of the forgotten Celtic god, his exploits and wanderings chronicled in intricate detail. The book seemed to hold the essence of Limo's presence, as if the very words on the pages resonated with the elusive deity. Examining the dedication, I realized that this discovery was yet another crucial clue in my pursuit. The storm raged outside, but within the shelter of the shop, I delved into the pages, absorbing the knowledge that would guide me on my journey. The city beyond the shop was a canvas of rain and shadows, the towering buildings dancing with the rhythm of the storm. Armed with the insights from the book, I prepared to step once again into the multidimensional currents, my pursuit of Limo undeterred by the tempest that surrounded me. The transition into the next version of Hiria was a jolting experience. The portal appeared this time as a floating picture frame, barely large enough for me to slip through. The cosmopolitan city stood alone in an endless ocean, its gleaming towers and flying cars suspended in a dreamlike existence. Despite the aquatic surroundings, an unsettling incongruity marred the scene. A raging fire consumed part of the city, flames dancing in defiance of the surrounding water. The panic among the denizens was palpable. Evacuation efforts were well underway, and emergency services struggled to contain the blaze in this unique floating metropolis. The juxtaposition of the aquatic setting and the consuming fire created a scene of unfair, unbalanced, almost otherworldly chaos. In the midst of the unfolding crisis, the hot winds blew anything lightweight into the air in a spiral of singed detritus. Snatching a newspaper from the air, I eagerly scanned the articles for any mention of Limo. The headlines spoke of the stubborn fire and the ensuing turmoil, but hidden within the pages, I found an article about the elusive Celtic god. The article hinted at Limo's presence in the city, his influence casting shadows of the unfolding events. It seemed my quarry had slipped through my grasp once again, leaving only traces of chaos and disruption. As I absorbed the information, a determination settled within me. The pursuit of Limo was a complex journey, with each reality revealing new facets of the elusive deity's impact. Folding the newspaper, I prepared to move on to the next reality, the ocean-bound city fading from view as I ventured once more into the enigmatic currents of the multidimensional landscape. The mystery of Limo's wanderings persisted, and with each reality, I edged closer to unraveling the intricate tapestry of this foreign Celtic god and the disruptions he left in his wake. The first step into this Hiria brought me into yet another cosmopolitan city, a vast expanse of glass skyscrapers and interconnected roadways, all encapsulated within a single colossal building. The city hummed with activity, its energy palpable as a constant flow of people and vehicles moved through its intricate network. The world beyond the walls of this titanic structure was a hazy mystery. As I navigated the bustling streets, my pursuit of Limo felt more promising. Progress was being made, and the sense of anticipation heightened. The rhythmic whirl of bicycle wheels echoed through the air, signaling the occurrence of a major race winding its way through the city's thoroughfares. Seeking a safe spot on the sidelines to avoid the rush of cyclists, I stepped aside and rejoined the crowd gathered to witness the spectacle. The heat of the race surged past, and as the racers blurred by, I took a moment to survey the surroundings. Amidst the city's dynamic atmosphere, my gaze was drawn to a shop window adorned with various posters. And there, prominently displayed, was an image of Limo. An inexplicable sensation ran through me, almost as if it was déjà vu for something I had never experienced. I was certain it was him, despite never having seen him in person. The poster captured the essence of the elusive Celtic god, his features etched in a mix of mystery and ancient power. Eager to gather more information, I entered the shop. The interior was filled with memorabilia and artifacts from the city's diverse cultural tapestry. As I approached the poster, I noticed that it was part of a larger display recounting the tales and legends associated with Limo. Examining the depictions and narratives, I gleaned insight into the god's influence in this particular reality. The bicycle race, the interconnected city structure, all seemed to intertwine with Limo's presence, leaving behind a tapestry of stories that echoed through the multidimensional landscape. With newfound knowledge and the poster as a memento, I prepared to move forward in pursuit of the wayward god. The city and interconnected roads blurred like blown glass as I transitioned once more, the mystery of Limo's wanderings continuing to unfold with each reality, though something was different in the next version of Hiria. Something told me I had made a mistake, and now the elusive god seemed to slip further away, though I had no proof of my progress and the distance between us growing with each passing dimension. This iteration of the city presented a stark contrast to the previous ones. A heavy smog hung in the air, obscuring the sky, and cobbled streets replaced the sleek thoroughfares of the previous cosmopolitan settings. Despite the grim atmosphere, a lively music festival was in swing. The dissonance between the oppressive surroundings and the celebratory ambiance created an eerie sense of contradiction. Feeling somewhat lost in the unfamiliar surroundings, I decided to pause and wait for a sign, a clue that might guide me back to the trail of Limo. As I stood amidst the bustling festival, a kindly, elderly woman approached me. Her eyes carried a warmth that contrasted with the desolate environment.
You seem lost, my friend. Let me share a tale with you. A tale of a miracle.
The woman's voice filled the air with a captivating rhythm, weaving a tale that seemed to dance on the edge of imagination and reality. As she spoke, the atmosphere around us transformed, and I found myself drawn into the narrative. The story began on a mundane day in the heart of the bustling city, where the monotony of everyday life had settled in like the thick fog inherent in the city. The stranger described a peculiar incident that occurred in the midst of this urban chaos, a moment that broke through the routine with a touch of magic. It all started when an old man, seemingly ordinary in appearance, stepped into a crowded subway car. The passengers, lost in their own worlds, paid little attention to him until he began to sing. His voice, rich and full of emotion, resonated through the confined space, capturing the attention of everyone present. As the elder recounted the scene, I could almost feel the shift in energy within the subway car. The mundane surroundings transformed into a canvas for the old man's melody, and a sense of wonder permeated the air. The story unfolded with a magical quality, as if the boundaries of reality had momentarily blurred like any of the portals I had been hurtling through. The old man's song, filled with lyrics of hope and resilience, resonated with the weary souls of the commuters. The strangers became connected, if only for a fleeting moment, by the shared experience of something extraordinary happening in the midst of their ordinary lives. The tale continued to describe how, in that brief interlude, people forgot their worries, smiled at strangers, and for a moment, the weight of the city seemed to lift. It was as if the old man's song had the power to transcend the dreary reality, offering a glimpse of a world where hope and wonder could break through the monotony. As the old woman concluded her story, there was a collective sigh among those who had slowed their busy lives and found themselves listening. The subway car, now just a memory in the storyteller's mind, left an indelible mark on the listeners, reminding them that even in the most unexpected places, magic and beauty could be found, waiting to be discovered amidst the chaos of daily life. With gratitude, I thanked the woman for her tale, and she offered a reassuring smile.
Sometimes the unexpected is the key to finding what you seek. Trust the signs, my friend.
Emboldened by this encounter, I set my sights on the next reality where Limo might be hiding. The festival continued in the background, the music blending with the distant hum of the city. With renewed determination, I stepped once more into the multidimensional currents, ready to pursue the elusive deity and uncover the secrets woven into the fabric of shifting realities. The transition into the next version of Hiria revealed a cityscape unlike any I had encountered before. Vibrant and full of life, even in the dark of night, it boasted tiled rooftops and enclosed plazas, yet a peculiar absence hung in the air. The sky above was devoid of stars, a cosmic tapestry that refused to reveal itself. Despite the absence of celestial bodies, the city thrived with energy and color. As I navigated the glowing streets, a peculiar revelation awaited me. Somehow, the elusive Celtic god had undergone a transformation in this reality. No longer a mysterious deity, Limo had taken on the guise of a fabulous starlet, embracing a newfound identity amongst the shifting dimensions. In the heart of the city, I stumbled upon a boutique adorned with glamorous displays. A captivating headshot caught my eye, and upon closer inspection, I discovered an autographed photograph of Limo. The Celtic god, now a star of this reality, had left a personal mark. A lipstick kiss graced the corner of the photograph. The intentions behind Limo's flight began to crystallize. It seemed that the god of old had chosen to explore the realms in various forms, each manifestation a reflection of the diverse realities encountered. The absence of stars took on a symbolic significance, a departure from the cosmic order, a deviation from the expected. As I held the autographed headshot in my hands, a sense of understanding dawned. Limo's journey through the dimensions was not merely a flight from pursuit. It was a quest for self-discovery, a dance across the boundaries of existence. With this newfound insight, I moved forward, stepping into the next version of Hiria, with a heightened awareness of the enigmatic Celtic god's intentions. The shifting landscapes and multifaceted personas of Limo continued to beckon, inviting me to unravel the mysteries woven into the multidimensional fabric of this ever-evolving city. The next version of Hiria unfolded like stepping into a dreamscape. This iteration of the city was the most beautiful yet. A tranquil haven of lush greenery with hidden homesteads nestled among the foliage. The air carried the fragrance of flowers, and a sense of serenity enveloped the surroundings. What set this reality apart was a unique mode of communication. every inhabitant spoke in poems, creating a lyrical tapestry of spoken words. Asking a nearby Hirian if they had seen my quarry, he casually replied, "The forgotten god passed through the town of Hiria, a solemn figure draped in robes of old, his presence silent yet filled with deep mystique, in his wake secrets and tales untold. His eyes, timeless orbs brimming with sorrow, witnessed the rise and fall of empires, aching for worship, for prayers of tomorrow, yet mankind's memory slowly expires. Once revered, adorned by countless souls, now abandoned, lost in the realm of dreams, his divine power fading, taking its toll, yet with his essence, hope still gleams. O forgotten god, your name lost to time, may your legacy endure, forever sublime." As I meandered through the poetic city, I took a moment to inspect the parcels that had accompanied me through this quest. Unraveling the layers of verbiage, I discovered a mysterious note tucked within. Its words carried a sense of gratitude and purpose, expressing thanks for accepting the mission on behalf of the Traveling Society. The revelation sparked a realization. I was not alone in this pursuit of Limo. The Traveling Society, shrouded in mystery, seemed to be orchestrating this quest across the shifting realities. Perhaps I'd been recruited by the stranger and not even known it. Standing in the abandoned city square, the tranquility of the surroundings felt like a lull in the journey. At the center of this square stood a statue of Limo, a silent witness to the ebb and flow of realities. Closer than ever to the Celtic god, I sensed a convergence, a meeting point of destinies. Re-energized with determination, I continued my quest, guided by the beauty of this reality and the whispers of poetry that adorned every conversation. The abandoned square, a poignant tableau, faded from view as I stepped forward through an oversized tree gnarl in front of me, ready to uncover the next chapter of the multidimensional tapestry of Hiria. After everything I'd seen, I had never seen a version of Hiria that was as stark and somber as what lay before me. This ancient landscape was a labyrinth of barbed wire and scavenged materials, connected not by conventional streets, but by waterways. The air was heavy with an atmosphere of desolation, and a sense of timelessness clung to the structures that stood as silent witnesses to ages long past. As I explored the desolate city, a sudden upheaval rocked the ground beneath me. A major earthquake shook the ancient structures, and destruction unfolded in its wake. Buildings crumbled, and the once still water of the city's makeshift canals were set into tumult. Oddly, despite the magnitude of the catastrophe, there was a disquieting absence of other witnesses. It seemed as though the devastation played out solely for my eyes, a spectacle of ruin with no audience to bear witness. Amidst the chaos, feeling a loss for how this ancient city could offer a lead to my quest, the answer came in an unexpected form. The whispers of an actual ghost. A spectral presence materialized before me, its form translucent against the backdrop of destruction. The ghost, a harbinger from the depths of this ancient city's history, spoke in ethereal tones.
"Behold the fate that awaits you all should you fail to bring the recalcitrant god to heal. Seek the river's reflection, while the waters mirror the secrets of the ages. There you shall find the next and final path in your quest."
The enigmatic guidance hung in the air, and as the ghost dissipated, I knew that the river, with its darkened waters and reflections of the past, held the key to the next lead in finding the ancient deity, Limo. In the aftermath of the earthquake, with the city's ruins standing as witnesses to untold stories, I set my course towards the river, ready to unravel the mysteries that awaited in the depths of its mirrored currents. The whispers of the ghost lingered as the river opened to a location I thought impossible, the heart of all Hirias. In the ephemeral nexus between realities, I found the elusive Celtic god in thought, presumably considering his next destination. His form, once a glamorous starlet, now bore the weight of ancient power and wisdom. Surprised and impressed by my mere mortal abilities, Limo regarded me with a mixture of curiosity and resignation.
Why do you persist, mortal?
Limo inquired, the echoes of countless realities etched in his voice. I explained that the worlds he had visited were left in chaos. The aftermath of his presence casted ripples that disrupted the delicate balance of existence. I urged him to consider the consequences of his actions, to acknowledge the impact he left in his wake. Limo, caught between the realms of divinity and the mortal coil, sighed.
I sought acknowledgement, to be remembered as I once was, to feel the warmth of devotion once again.
All things come to an end, even gods. Being gracious with the time that we have, leaving behind positive legacies, is the best any of us can do, mortal or not. The god's gaze softened, and for a moment, the weight of eons seemed to lift from his shoulders. The realization that acknowledgement wasn't bound to chaos and disruption settled in, and Limo contemplated the wisdom of a mortal who understood the ephemeral nature of existence. As the nexus wavered, the boundaries between our realities blurred. Limo, once a wanderer between worlds, stood at the crossroads of a decision. Acknowledging the wisdom in my words, he nodded in a reluctant agreement.
Perhaps it's time for me to embrace a different path,
Limo mused, his form dissipating as he faded into the shifting currents of realities. The nexus shimmered, and as I stepped back into the familiar landscape of my own Hiria, a sense of accomplishment and understanding lingered. The pursuit of the Forgotten God had not only unveiled the mysteries of the multiverse, but also imparted a lesson on the cyclical nature of existence. The city, with its diverse realities and shifting dimensions, continued to thrive. As I walked through the vibrant streets, the echo of Limo's journey served as a reminder of the delicate balance between acknowledgement, chaos, and the ephemeral beauty of all things that come to an end. As soon as I read the description for Hiria, the Eternal City, I knew that I wanted to have it on the podcast. It is the epitome of what I say when I say your story will be different. There are so many variables that come into play when playing this game, and I was super excited to present it to those of you who haven't already played it, and of course always encourage people to do it. One of the things that's great about it is that it's really kind of tapping into what's, I would say, hot in the zeitgeist right now of kind of multi-dimensional, multiple realities. And there is a lot of room for playing around and experiencing all sorts of combinations of things based upon how you roll in the game. For example, in this game, we were finding a forgotten god, but it could be a lost love. It could be somebody that owes you money. It could be a few other different options that would change the flavor of the entire game, I would suppose. And yeah, another variable in the situation there. And of course, roles determine as you play through the version of Hiria that you're coming across. And you're allowed to allocate specific numbers to move up and down this list of the attributes of it. And it made for some very interesting choices in this playthrough. And I'm sure yours is going to be as unique and particular as a fingerprint, so to speak. Another aspect that didn't really come up in my playthrough, but it might in yours, is some of the roles for situations, if you encounter them, become much more introspective on your character and why they're going through this process. It just so happened that a lot of my roles for this were more about moving the story forward and finding clues to find your quarry, but not so much of the introspective part of it. Just be glad I didn't go with the alternate title that I was thinking of, which was Finding Limo. Thank you again for listening to Your Story Will Be Different. Thank you also to everyone who's been giving me feedback on the podcast. It's been very insightful, whether it be technological stuff. I do value that kind of feedback. So I'm learning as we go, and I'm hoping it's still enjoyable for you. If you want to reach out to me, the best way to do that is via, I'm just going to call it Twitter, @YourTTRPG. Up for next session, we're going to be playing Monster in the Wilderness, which is going to be fun because it kind of spins the fantasy genre on its ear, and you play as a monster who just set up a den in the wilderness somewhere. And of course, some obnoxious hero comes along to ruin everything. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can be the first to listen to the podcast when it comes out every other Tuesday. As always, I'm going to put a link in the show description to Hiria, the Eternal City by Jimmy Shelter. And remember, as fun as this was for me, your story will be different.